This is Beyond with Heather Tesch, where we examine near-death experiences and life itself, hopefully making this life a little better. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My guest today is Robbie McLean. Hello, Robbie.
G'day, how are you today?
I am great. It's nice to have you talking to us from New Zealand. And I know we do have some viewers from New Zealand, so it is great to not only say hello to you, but to everybody that is watching there. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. New Zealand is such a beautiful country. Just mentioned before, we've just returned from a holiday from beautiful Queenstown and spent a week down there. And there's a lot of tourists. There's a lot of Americans that actually go to Queenstown as well, and such a fantastic place.
And I'd love to go there someday. But for now, let's talk about your near-death experience. So you were in the hospital, you're having an operation, and you have a near-death experience. So can you take us to that day and then step us through it?
Yeah, so it was during the COVID times, and my health spiraled down very, very, very fast. So I'm very lucky my wife is a nurse, and she made a call to the cardiologist, and they got me into hospital really quickly. But before that, I was actually lying on the bed for days, and the cats, we did have 8 cats, and they're just lying all over top of me trying to heal me. And they obviously knew something was wrong as well. And I was getting no oxygen to the brain, and I was just faded so fast and was getting pains and things. So I was very lucky. My wife contacted the cardiologist, and they got me into hospital. And it was so lucky to be there, to tell you the truth, because it was a week after I got in, they stopped all elective surgery. So I've had a second shot at life in 2 ways, which is very, very good. Yeah, so once I was in the hospital, I was lying there, and I actually picked up a Bible, and I prayed to God and Jesus, and I said, it's up to you whether you take me or whether I come back. And I wrote 2 letters, one if I come back, and then one if I pass, to my family. Yeah. So, it was my surgeon is actually one of the very top surgeons in Australia, and she came to see me. We did all the paperwork and things like that, and at that stage we knew I also, as well as my heart valve, I had an aneurysm about the size of a tomato up the top of my heart, which also had to be removed, which was a surprise. We didn't actually know about that here. So they put me to sleep, and we headed to surgery. So during the surgery, I had what I thought was a dream, but I now know it's a near-death experience. So I was standing out of my body. The room was just totally white. The ceilings, the walls, everything was just totally white. And I was talking to people around me, even though I couldn't see them, but it was all telepathic. We were chatting away there. And then these 3, what I understand now, 3 angels come swooshing into the room from the right-hand side. And you could see the tails of their cloaks just swoosh, swoosh to 3 of them. There was 1 taller one and 2 shorter ones. The taller one stood above my heart, and the other 2 were at the bottom of my heart. At the time this happened, I looked at the end of my bed, and my good friend Tanya Stiles was standing there, and my dad. And my dad passed away 5 years ago, and Tanya passed away, would be 12 years ago now. And they looked as if they were 30 years old. They were wearing fawny coloured clothes, and it was telepathy with Tanya. She says everything's okay. She had this big, beautiful smile on her face. And it was at that point, where I was standing, I came up and I rose up over top of my body. The 2 angels were down the bottom of my stomach, and all you could hear with the hands, the swooshing sound so fast. The hands were just so fast. And then the other taller angel was inside my heart, and he had like it looked like a square piece of like chrome or metal but polished, and he's putting it place into my heart, and he was adjusting and moving it around. And then once he'd finished, he says, "Okay, you can close him up now." And then it was after that point, I woke up in ICU, and they're calling your name, Robbie, what's your name? What's your address? And things like that. And I started to come to. I said, "Oh man, I was having such a cool dream." I didn't actually tell anybody anything. So then continued back into ICU, and there's the next day when I came right, I contacted my wife. I said, "Oh, I had this dream." And she said, being a nurse, they can't say too much, but she did tell me. She says, "Oh, you actually had a near-death experience in the NDE." I said, "NDE? What's an NDE? Never heard of an NDE before." So she said, "Make sure you write everything down," and which I did. I'll show you this piece of paper, because this is the actual piece of paper here where I wrote everything down, and I drew stick figures for the angels and things like that, and wrote down absolutely everything that I saw. This is the piece of paper. I actually wrote this on the 19th of July 2021, and it's all the factual truth about my operation. Yeah, about the seeing the angels and things. So after that, I'm lying in my bed, and I just feel this warmth, just this warmth throughout my whole body. It's just like, and at first I thought it was all the morphine and things like that. And then the different things were happening in hospital. Like I'm sure angels were with me while I was still in hospital there. There's one particular nurse came in, beautiful blonde hair. She had a different blue uniform to the other nurses. She's the lady who actually released me out. And I said to her, I said, "Man, that's a nice blue uniform she's got there." And she says, "Yeah," she says, "What are you doing in here? You're too young to be in here." And then she got up, she was walking away, and colours I like are blue and yellow. And she said, "Yes, blue and yellow go really together really, really nicely." I said, "Yeah, how did you know that?" And then she walked out. I've never ever saw that nurse whilst I was in the hospital. And so that was sort of quite special. But then when I came home, I was lying in bed, and I was like looking at my hands, and I was thinking, like, my hands just look so young. They just look so young, and I felt just still that love and warmth and everything inside me. And I went out to the toilet and had a look at the window. I looked at the stars, and I said, "Hey, what am I doing down here? I'm meant to be up there with you guys." These are sort of things I've never said before, by the way. And and I just felt it's just so different, And then lying back into the bed, same thing with all our cats. They're all like laying all over top of me, just trying to heal me and everything. And after obviously the medication or the morphine wore off when I was in hospital, I still had love that I guess that the warmth inside me. I still have it now. Probably not quite as powerful, but I still have it inside me now. And then so as I was recovering, we'd go for our walks, and I'd carry my pillow because you'd have to, get your lungs working again and things like that. I'm walking around, so wow, look at those colours and all the colours of the flowers and the grass and everything was just like popping out, and hearing the birds, tweeting the birds and things, and it was just incredible. I was like, I've never seen this in my life before. And then my wife says, "Oh, but we walk past here all the time." I said, "No, not like this. This is just amazing how all this is just popping out." And then butterflies, seeing butterflies like floating around, and especially a blue butterfly came through our backyard, and I've never actually seen a blue butterfly before. So you've got what spiritual meanings are with butterflies and things as well. Yeah. But so before I went into the hospital, My heart valve, your aortic valve is normally like 25 millimeters. Mine shrunk to 3 millimeters. And it was only just pumping blood through. I was getting no oxygen in my brain. And of course, that's what's caused the aneurysm, and that could burst at any time. And after the surgery, my surgeon actually said it's the worst heart valve she'd ever seen. So I was very, very fortunate to get in when I did, because she said I only had actually human lives. I only had like probably about 3 days left to live. So it all worked out for a reason, obviously. Yeah. So coming back, like I say, many changes. Like, wow, really heightened intuition. I have no fear of anything. Have no fear of dying, but I do have a big spiritual connection to above now, and I'm being able to channel, channel through here, and then it's activated like my third eye and things like that there as well. But the big one is the power I have in my hands, the heat that comes out of my hands for healing. So my wife had a little bit of a sore neck. She said, "Oh, do you want to try and rub my neck?" And she said, "Wow, you should feel the heat coming out of your hands." I was like, "Wow, I never had that before." So I'm talking to different people, I suppose, about like the spiritual side of things, what I've been through and things like that. And what they said is pretty much angels came in. They've given me a holy, what do you call it, like a holy healing. And that's where the energy and everything comes from, the warmth and everything comes from as well. And but now I'm able, like I said, I'm able to channel like the healings and things. So I haven't actually done many healings. One healing I did do, we were down in Taupo, and it was at a resort, and it was one of the it was a Shire monk from Spain, and I was telling him my story, and he goes, "Wow, Jesus was with you, man." I said, "Really?" I said, "I didn't see Jesus." He goes, no, Jesus was with you. Energy of Jesus was with you over your surgery. He's like, "Wow, that's pretty cool, man." He goes, "I'll tell you what," he says, "I've got a little bit of a pain going down my leg, and I have a really sore back. Are you interested in trying a healing on me?" I said, "Yeah, okay, let's go." So we went upstairs, and he sat down, and I cleared myself, and I tried to channel, and I channeled. I could feel the warmth in my head, and was healing his back, just going so down his back, down his back, and around his head, bits and pieces. And then when I finished, I said to Manu, I said, "How was that?" He goes, "Wow." He goes, "I've never felt anything like that." This guy, he's very spiritually connected, and a Shire monk as well. And he said he felt the top of his head open up, his third eye open up. He said it felt like on his back, hundreds of hands just releasing rubber bands, like tap, 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 all on his back, like hundreds of hands. Excuse me. And so we spoke after he'd gone back to Spain, probably about a month later, and his back was healed, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So I haven't actually tried any other healing since. It's one thing that I will be doing is healing.
I wish I was there. I've got kind of a sore neck right now. It'd be interesting to see it and feel it.
Yeah. No, it's pretty amazing. Like honestly, because I was very uncertain, and coming from like a building construction side of things, and I've always believed in a God and a Jesus and spiritual and energies and things like that. But like now I know it's true. Like I know it's true. I've been here, and I still feel it, And then same like with this cross here, I actually bought this while I was lying in bed recovering, because it just reminded me of I guess the silver that was being placed into my heart by one angel. So I never take this off. I always wear it. Yeah.
Well, you had really an incredible experience. Interesting that at first you thought it was a dream because you probably didn't know anything about near death experiences, but what convinced you that it was more than a dream?
Wow. Okay, so one thing it really helped with my wife being a nurse and explaining. So number one, it was a 5 hour surgery. So your heart is flatlined and your brain is flatlined and you're connected to a machine. And you have, I can't remember whether it was like a team of like 7 or 8 people like working on you, looking after the machine and monitoring and things like that. So your body is actually physically dead. There's no way you could remember or dream anything. Yeah. So that's a good proof that your spirit, your soul is separate to your body.
And how did it feel compared to this world? Did it feel dreamlike? Did it feel realistic?
Wow. It felt, like I say, everything was just white. And I think it felt so real. It did feel so real. And it felt just love. The word love, LOVE, that's what it felt like. Just the whole love of the whiteness and everything, that energy was just all love. Yeah.
Did you feel like you were in the same room and it was just covered in white, or did you feel like you were in a different dimension or in a completely different location?
Completely different location. Completely different location. You're definitely not where I was, that's for sure. Yeah, completely different location. Yeah.
And you said it was white. Did you feel like it was a small room, a big room? Was it more of an infinite room?
It was infinite. It was huge. You couldn't see the big, being a builder, you couldn't see the join between the floor, the walls, and the ceiling. It was just like this beautiful, glowing white, infinite, huge. Yes. Yeah.
During your near death experience, you talked to some people. So you had the angels, of course, but then also your father was there. You had a friend that was there. What do you
Yeah.
think the purpose was of those people being in your experience?
Yeah. I think now is they were there for reassurance. That's what I think. They came down. Obviously, they were in a different realm, and the angels are in a different realm again. That's why they swooshed into the room. But I think with Tanya and Dad there, they were there for reassurance that everything was going to be okay. I think that's why they were there. It wasn't my time yet. That's why.
And a lot of people here on earth want reassurance that their loved ones are okay. Did you get a sense that they were happy, that they were living a good life in this post earth life they were in?
Yeah, I tell you what, because let's say my dad, he had same operations as me, to tell the truth, like heart valve and things like that. But eventually he passed away of stroke. So when he passed away, he was actually quite very ill. He couldn't really sort of do too much. And just seeing him standing there as bright as a button with a smile on his face, he had a cheeky little smile. And he just looked so happy. Like, my dad always meant a lot to me. And for me, seeing him there happy as well, which was really special. And also my friend Tanya, like, she's such a beautiful person. And growing up through life, she was always there for me. I actually race rally cars. So I'm quite into my motorsport. And that's how Tanya and I met. And she was always there helping out all the way through. So we had a good friendship for probably a good 25 years, I think. But she always had my back. Come on, Robbie, let's go. Come on, Robbie. And so this is a funny thing too, actually. So when Tanya passed away, I didn't actually know she had passed away, but I had a dream. And she visited me in a dream. And she was walking backwards and forwards up and down the bed. Come on, Robbie. Come on, Robbie. You're going to have to keep going, Robbie. Come on, Robbie. You're going to have to, keep going now. And then it was a couple of days later, I found out she passed away. So, yeah, things like that do happen. But it was so nice to see them both there happy, like I say, because I think because They both looked out for me. As in human life, they were looking out for me there as well to make sure I got back here safely. Yeah.
Now, Tanya said something to you. Your dad, I don't think, said anything to you, but did you feel, was there a love being exchanged or coming from them?
Oh, yeah, definitely lots of love. Yeah, definitely lots of love coming from both of them, eh? I could just see with Dad's smile, he had that proudness about him. Like he was, it's like he knew it was going to happen, to see the truth. And he's standing with a smile on his face. Yeah, but Tanya, like I say, it was the telepathy, just oozing that, that love and everything too. And she says, everything will be okay. That was, special.
Do you have any words of reassurance or comfort for people who have lost a loved one and they're concerned about them?
Yeah, they're still with you. So even though physically we lose our loved ones, they're in another realm, but they're actually still with you. You can't physically feel them, but you can, sometimes you can sense them or feel them as well. And sometimes there's little signs. So I have some friends, actually, they're over from Costa Rica in the weekend. And Miss Tanya's brother Leon passed away suddenly two years ago of a brain aneurysm, to tell you the truth. And we were walking down the road talking about Leon, and all of a sudden, goosebumps all over me. And my friend with me got the same thing. So that's a sign that Leon was there with us. Yeah. So yes, now your family and even your pets are over there waiting for you. So you move into like totally another realm. They say this is a body, unfortunately, but when you move into the other realm, your body, your features are still the same, but younger. Yeah.
And how do you know pets go there?
I've heard stories about their pets, to tell you the truth, like when people have crossed over and their cat or their dog have been there. And sometimes with people who do communicate to that side of things there as well, their pet has been in the background. I've had the pet's name something up out there as well. Yeah.
And that is always so comforting to people too, because even if they think their loved ones go on, they're not always sure about their pets, and we get so attached to them. And it really is reassuring when we can find out that, yes, they're going to be there too, and we will be reunited with them.
Special things actually happen to animals. So we had this beautiful white cat called Casper. When we shifted to New Zealand, he got very sick. I don't think he handled the travel okay. And he got very, very, very ill. And so we poor guy, he was 15 years old, and there wasn't much we could do. We tried medication and things. We ended up having to, take him to the vet, which was really sad to do. But when I got home, sitting in the lounge, here was his cat pole, and we do have some crystals and things on the windows. His cat pole lit up with all the crystal colors, like that. So and you could feel this beautiful warm energy. So cats are spirits as well. So his spirit came back in, the pole lit up as he was like crossing over. It happens with humans as well too. Yeah, very special.
That's nice that he came back and showed you that. And I have to say,
Yeah.
I like hearing that you have 8 cats, because finally I meet somebody who has more cats than I do. I have 6 right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So we are both cat lovers, which is great. Well, Robbie, I have a lot more questions to ask you. I want to talk more about the angels and what one of the angels put inside of you, and a lot of other questions too. But let's go ahead and take that into part 2.
Okay.
Thanks so much for joining me on Beyond with Heather Tesch. That was part 1. Make sure to listen to part 2. And if you liked what you heard, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more episodes.